Hi there, and welcome back to 1, 2, 3 Sheep ASMR. My name is Parker, and I am the third sheep. And today I will be showing you my vinyl collection. I have a whole bunch of my vinyls spread out all across my bed, and I'll be showing you them. I don't have a ton of vinyls just because I've more recently started collecting them and they are super expensive, and worst of all, I don't have a great record player. I will be buying one that's better soon, but since I consume most of my music digitally, I just haven't yet. But I love having physical copies of albums, and I think that vinyls are the coolest to collect, and I have some displayed in my room. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. I'm going to be starting with the band that I probably have the most albums from, and that is 21 Pilots. And the first LP that I have by them is Regional at Best, and if you're a 21 Pilots fan, you're going to be saying right now, how in the world do you have a Regional at Best vinyl? Well, obviously it's not an official vinyl, and I got this from my brother. He gave it to me for Christmas one year. What makes it so? I don't know where he got it. Obviously it's not official, but still, this is one of my favorite albums by 21 Pilots, and it's one that they don't have on Spotify or anything like that, and you can't really get it very easily. So yeah, physical copies are rare, especially official ones. So if you somehow have an official CD, I don't think they ever made vinyls of this, then yeah, you got something special. So, and I'm sure there's people that do. So yeah, that's Regional at Best by 21 Pilots. Okay, next up I have Vessel. I have two copies of this. One of them is I think it's the standard version. Let's get out of the slip and see. I don't know what that was that fell out. I think it was the digital redeem code, which I already redeemed, so don't even try. Here's the slip for it. Has all the lyrics on it. But the vinyl itself is clear. Yeah, you can see that. It's clear. One of my favorite vinyls that I have, because this album is just incredible. And yeah, that's the clear version. The other version that I have, it looks the same on the outside, but the vinyl itself is silver. I don't know if you can see that. Silverish gray. Yeah, so those are the two versions that I have. I don't know which one's rarer. I'm pretty sure the silver one's more rare. I don't remember when I got it. I think they did a special release for the anniversary, and so this is the anniversary edition, I think. I could be wrong, so yeah, that's Vessel. Okay, the next album that I have by 21 Pilots is, of course, Blurry Face. I have two versions of this one as well. This is the standard black vinyl version, and this is a special version. But first, I just want to show you that this is like 3D. I don't know if you can see this. It's like, here, I think I can show you. It has the artwork of Blurry Face. that's what's making that up, and then it goes back inside, which is going to be too hard to do. Here's the slip. It's got the designs and then the lyrics. Also, this is just clear normally. Okay, but the vinyls themselves, the actual record part, is red. It does have some speckles on it when you look at it from the side. That's really weird. Maybe it's just the light shining through. I guess not. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's not the speckled version. But yeah, red. I think this is a pretty standard edition. I don't think it's super special, but yeah. That was Blurry Face. So now we are getting into the Trench era of 21 Pilots. This is a 10-inch vinyl with their single tracks, Jumpsuit, Levitate, and Nico and the Niners on it. So let me get this out and show you really quick. This one might be more rare. I don't know how many of these were made. But on the inside it has the floral sleeve. And then the vinyl itself is, of course, yellow and it's translucent. So yeah, this is one of the cooler and probably rarer ones that I have, but I don't know how rare it actually is. I haven't really looked, but I bought it when it came out, because I love these songs, and I think Trench is probably their best album, at least for me. So yeah, that's the 10-inch singles vinyl. Okay, next up is, of course, Trench. This is the full album, 2 LP version. I don't think they made a single LP version. I don't know why I said that, but yeah, I think this album is probably their best. It's at least my favorite. And we are going to slide out the slip. And I believe the version that I have is also the translucent yellow LPs. And they indeed are. So yeah. The back has some of the lyrics. Also, I just realized I should clarify. If I sound nasally, it's because I still am somehow miraculously sick. I've been sick for like a week and a half, and it just refuses to go away. So, if, yeah, I sound clogged up, it's because I am. But, yeah, that's Trench. Alright, moving on. I have one more Trench LP. By the way, Trench is one of the ones that I have displayed in my room. So, yeah, I'm going to try and clarify which ones I have on my wall. But Trench is one of them. Next up, this one probably is rare. I think they made 11,000 of them, which sounds like a lot, but with music it really isn't, especially with a band as big as 21 Pilots. But yeah, I have 2 of them. I have one that's sealed in the packaging that it was shipped to me, just in case it's somehow eventually worth a ton of money. But yeah, this is my version of the reimagined songs from Trench, which I think the hype on the reimagined is so much better than the original, and one of my favorite songs by 21 Pilots. But this is the slip. It has Tyler in the studio, which, if you don't know, Tyler just went into his studio and reimagined some of the songs from Trench. I don't know what color this is. I assume it's not. It's gray. I did not remember that it was gray. There's then A-side, B-side, and that's this one, and I think that concludes our Trench era of 21 Pilots. Also, Paul Meany, I don't think he helped produce these, but he helped produce Trench, and Mute Math is an amazing band, and you should go check them out, because Paul Meany, who helps produce 21 Pilots music, is a genius. So, go check them out if you want. Alright, next up I have Scaled and Icy, which is definitely my least favorite album by 21 Pilots, but it is the most attractive to look at. The cover art is definitely their best, and I was really excited when I saw the cover art, but I wasn't disappointed with the album. But I was kind of disappointed with the album, if that makes sense. There's still some great songs on here, but it's not like Trench or their other albums, so. I have 3 versions of Scaled and Icy. This version is the Icy version. It's the clear vinyl version, and as far as I know, if I'm remembering correctly, I think this is the rarest one that I have. Not positive. This is not the clear blue version, this is just the clear version. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, that's just the clear version. And then I also have the clear blue version, which is probably my favorite. Looks like candy. But yeah, that's that one. And then I think the standard blue version, which is just like that. So yeah, those are my 3 versions of Scaled and Icy. Yeah, I like the album, but it's a little disappointing. Redecorate is really good. So yeah, really excited for their next album. I really liked Overcompensate. Next Semester was pretty good. But yeah, their cover art for Clancy is terrible. And I'm just gonna say it. I think it's not a good album cover. It's disappointing. But Scaled and Icy really is their only good album cover, other than maybe Blurry Face. All the other ones are just kind of there. Other than 21 Pilots. 21 Pilots, their self-titled album is definitely the best cover that they've ever had. But other than that, I mean, they're alright. But yeah, Clancy was a huge disappointment as far as the cover art. It hurts my eyes. But anyway, I'm still excited for the album. And I'll always love 21 Pilots. So, yeah. I hope you guys are enjoying this video so far. I don't know how well this is going. But yeah, that's 21 Pilots. Okay, next up, I have another album that was released by Fueled by Ramen, the record label, and that is Pray for the Wicked by Panic at the Disco. This might be my favorite Panic at the Disco album, but it is hard because Vice Virtues is an amazing album, and so is Death of a Bachelor. All of them are great. I think that Brandon Urie is one of the best singers on the stage today. But yeah, this album in particular was stacked and extremely well produced, and I was really sort of surprised by his next album, Viva Las Vengeance, I think it's called. I listened to it, and the production quality of it was miles below Pray for the Wicked. His voice was always really far back in the mix and hard to hear, which was quite opposite of this, and I felt like none of the songs really grabbed me like a lot of them on Pray for the Wicked. All of them, I think, are great. So, yeah, the vinyl is just a regular black vinyl. There's not really anything special about it. So I'm not going to get out every vinyl that I have if they're not special, just because I don't want to wear them out, you know. So, yeah, that's Pray for the Wicked. I think this is an amazing album, and I listened to it to death. And I haven't listened to it in a while because I literally listened to it nonstop for like 3 months after it came out. So, yeah, Pray for the Wicked. Next, we're gonna go back in time to 1977, which was the year Star Wars came out, but also was the year that Billy Joel released his masterpiece, The Stranger. Now, if you are not a Billy Joel fan, I don't really know why you're not a Billy Joel fan, but he is one of the most prolific artists when it comes to releasing good music. Man really never missed. But yeah, this is The Stranger, which is probably my favorite album by him. This is just a re-release. It's not, well, is it? Yeah, this is the re-release. I have one that I bought off of eBay, and I don't know what version it is. But this is the re-release. Actually, this vinyl might be special. This might be... I think it's brown. No, it's black. I lied. It's just regular black. So yeah, that's The Stranger. I think this album is incredible. A lot of the songs on it are some of his more popular ones, like Moving Out, which is probably my favorite one on the album. It has gained popularity, and obviously Vienna. Most of you have probably heard that song by now. But the rest of the album is incredibly good. And I listened to this a couple of years ago and was blown away. But yeah, that's The Stranger. Okay, I want to publicly apologize for the dishonesty in that last bit. The Stranger probably is my favorite album by Billy Joel. My favorite is probably 52nd Street. This album is so good. I was just looking at the songs and I was like, oh, actually this one's my favorite for sure, which might be an issue in going through my Billy Joel collection, is that I just think all of them are my favorite, but this one probably actually is my favorite. Big Shot. That song is so good. And then Honesty. Oh, so good. My Life. So good. All of these are just amazing, and especially Zanzibar, which is probably my favorite. But all of them are just incredible. So, yeah, if you haven't listened to this album and you want to listen to just great music, great writing, and Billy Joel's voice is just incredible on this album. So yeah, if you want to listen to one of the best albums ever made, I think this is it. I think this is at least one of them. So, yeah, check it out if you'd like. And Rosalind is This version is just, as you can probably see, I got it at a thrift store, but it's in amazing condition and plays great. And so, yeah, I kind of like having older versions because I know that a lot of people will get rid of vinyls and then they'll just sit and sit and sit and nobody will buy them. And so with an album like 52nd Street, finding one that's been listened to and been loved, it's cool to have. I don't know. Obviously it's not going to sell for anything. It's not a special edition, but for me, I love that it's used. So as long as it plays good. I would like to publicly apologize for the mishonesty in that last clip. My favorite Billy Joel album is probably Glass Houses by Billy Joel, obviously. I don't know why I said it like that. But this was 1980, and it probably isn't my favorite. My favorite probably is 52nd Street, but yeah, this album is incredible. With my favorite probably being Sleeping with the Television On. That song is just, I don't know, I love it. But I discovered Billy Joel's music like 2 years ago. Obviously I'd heard of him, but I didn't really listen to him, and then I listened to all of his albums, like in 2021, I want to say, or 2021. And since then, I've been in Billy Joel's top 0.5% of monthly listeners, or whatever the thing is on Spotify, because I just love Billy Joel. One of my favorite artists of all time. And yeah, and this album is a big part of why. So yeah, that's Glass Houses. I also have another version. This is, I think, I don't know where I got this. I think this is a Walmart re-release. I'm not sure. But I have another version that was my mom's that she bought when the album first came out. doesn't play good, but it's still cool to have. It's not this one, but I don't have that one here. It's in my vinyl box. So yeah, that's Glass Houses. Next up, I have An Innocent Man. This album is one of the most normal album covers. It's a picture of him. But yeah, this album is very good and has, I think, his most popular song right now, which is Uptown Girl. But this album is much more than Uptown Girl. The sound of this album is so 80s. The drums are so, like, right in between that 70s and 80s drum sound, and it's so clean and crunchy, and yeah. I'm trying to pick a favorite here. I don't know, they're all good. Oh, they're all good. Easy Money or Keeping the Faith. I don't know, one of those is probably my favorite from this album. But yeah, this album is terrific and an absolute certified banger. I don't think there's as many slow songs on this one. Yeah, there's maybe one or two, but yeah, much more upbeat album. And yeah, great album. Definitely listen to it if you haven't. Next up, we have Billy Joel's most underrated album, in my opinion, which is Stormfront. Obviously, it has We Didn't Start the Fire on it, but it's so much more than that. I think And So It Goes, which is the last song on the album, is the greatest ballad ever written and one of the most beautiful songs. As soon as I heard it, I learned it on piano, and it's one of my favorite songs to play on piano. I think this album is a masterpiece and is often overlooked, I think, just because people don't like the storytelling side of Billy Joel, which the song is extremely storyteller-based. He sings a song about being a sailor on the Downeaster Alexa, which is one of the cool songs. It's very cinematic. But even Stormfront, which is probably my favorite song from this album other than And So It Goes, Stormfront's a certified banger. I love that song. So yeah, Stormfront is the last Billy Joel album that I have. And one of my favorites. I want to get eventually, but I don't have all the other ones, which he has quite a few of. Let me think. Cold Spring Harbor, which is his first album. Street Life Serenade, Turnstiles, Piano Man. What other ones do I not have? I don't have River of Dreams, or The Nylon Curtain, or The Bridge. He's written a lot of albums, so, I mean, that's 7 right there, so there's a lot that I don't have, but yeah, all of those are amazing, so if you haven't listened to Billy Joel, definitely listen. Do yourself a favor and listen. He's considered one of the greatest of all times, and that's for a reason. So yeah, that concludes my Billy Joel section of this video. Okay, next we have another heavy hitter, which is Relient K. This particular album has 2 lefts don't make a right, but 3 do. It's one of my favorite albums by them, and I'm tempted to say that this is my favorite band of all time, which I know I've said that about everybody that I've had vinyls of so far, but just to clarify, between my favorite bands, it would be 21 Pilots or Relient K. And between artists, it would be Billy Joel or Dayglow, who I'm about to get to in a minute. But yeah, this is Relient K's third album, I think. It was Relient K, Anatomy of the Tongue and the Cheek, and then 3 lefts don't make it right, but 3 do. I believe they were also very prolific and amazing, but this is 2 lefts don't make it right, but 3 do. I'm really happy to have this vinyl, because it's hard to get Relient K vinyls, because they sell out so fast. So one day my friend texted me, I was like, Relient K's vinyls are back in stock, and I was like, oh my gosh, and I bought a whole bunch of them, so this is one of them. Another one that I have by Relient K is their most famous album. I'm pretty sure all of these albums are just black vinyls. I think. I'm not positive. But yeah, this Escape on it, which is, I think, their most popular song. I'm not sure. I think that's according to Spotify, but I don't know. But yeah, this was the album that I discovered them back in 2007. Our one friend was like, hey, have you heard of Relient K? And we were like, no. And he played some for my brother, and then my brother went and bought the CD, and then we got obsessed with this album. And then we listened to all their other music, and we're obsessed. But I've loved this band since I was 7 years old, and yeah, it's amazing to see how good of music they've released for so long. They're the Billy Joel of our modern day with how prolific they've been. And even with Matthew Thiessen's single solo album, Wind Up Bird, I loved that album. It was a lot different than Relient K, but I still listen to that album a lot. I don't have it on vinyl, unfortunately. I should have bought it on vinyl, but I didn't. But yeah, that's... Next up, I have 5 years ago. This album is incredible, and this album cover is not the standard one. I actually had never seen this album cover before I bought the vinyl. But that is one thing that I really liked about Relient K, or like about, it's just because they kind of aren't making music anymore, but one thing that I really like about Relient K is they have multiple cover arts for all their albums, which is pretty cool, I think. Well, most of their albums. But yeah, this is 5 years ago, and this album might be my most listened to. I'm not sure. I listened to this album so much. It has Deathbed on it, which is an 11-minute song, and it is beautiful and wonderful and just an amazing song, and I've listened to it a lot. But yeah, there's a lot of great songs on here. If you haven't listened to Relient K, go listen to them. They're amazing. Next by Relient K is Forget and Not Slow Down, which is hands down my favorite album by Relient K. This album is so amazing, and it's one that I have displayed in my room. The Stranger by Billy Joel is also one that I display in my room, mainly because it's a better cover art than 52nd Street, but yeah, this cover art I never really liked, but I thought it was a real picture for a long time. It's actually a painting. I don't know if you can, it's not going to focus because autofocus is too loud, but it's a painting by Matthew Thiessen's uncle. But yeah, probably my least favorite album cover by them, but probably my favorite album. Forget Not Slow Down is a song that I think a lot of people will identify with, and the whole album is just amazing. Although musically, this one I think is their best, but yeah, I don't have Relient K, their self-titled album. I don't have Anatomy of the Tongue and the Cheek. I don't have, what other one do I not have? I don't have Birds and the B-Sides, which is an amazing album. And I don't have Air for Free. Is that it? Maybe. I don't know, but I have more. But this is Forget Not Slow Down. This is Relient K's Christmas album, the best Christmas album ever written. And you've probably heard songs from it before, but do yourself a favor and listen to this full album at Christmas, because this album is incredible. This is Let It Snow Baby Let It Rain Dear by Relient K, and it is a wonderful, wonderful Christmas album with some amazing original Christmas music on it, and some of the best ever remakes of Christmas songs, classic Christmas songs on it. It just doesn't feel like Christmas until I listen to this album, so I always get it out early and try and listen to it on vinyl, because it's just, I don't know, when I'm setting up my Christmas decorations, I listen to this and the Charlie Brown Christmas album. But yeah, that's Let It Snow Baby Let It Rain Dear. This is the last vinyl that I have by Relient K, which is Collapsible Lung. This album is pretty good. I was really, really disappointed with it when it came out, because it's very poppy. It's not as much punk rock as they've been, and it was very poppy. And they worked with some other producers on this one, and you can definitely tell. But there's still some really good songs on here, and the cover art is very good. And for a while, this was the only vinyl that you could buy by Relient K, and so I think it's pretty normally accepted as their worst album, other than maybe Relient K, just because of production reasons, and Matthew Thiessen's voice wasn't quite as amazing as it is in the following albums. But yeah, Collapse Belong is the last one that I have. I love Air for Free, and I love all their other albums. I just don't have them on vinyl, because they're hard to get, and they're expensive. So, yeah, that's my Relient K section of this video. If you haven't listened to Relient K, please go listen to them. Do yourself a favor. Start with Forget Not Slow Down. That album is incredible. And yeah, so that's Relient K. I said that the competitors for my favorite band was either 21 Pilots or Relient K, and the artist Billy Joel and Dayglow. So we'll now get into his section. This is Dayglow's first album, Fuzzy Brain. This is an album that means a lot to me because when it came out, it was really an album that I needed, and yeah, it means a lot. And most people have probably heard some of it on TikTok or something, but Can I Call You Tonight is like the big one from this album, but it's definitely not the best song on this album. This album has so much to offer, and every song is unique and just makes you feel good. I believe the vinyl's colored, but this is the inside of it. It's kind of hard to look at. It doesn't look like it's hard to look at on your guys' screen, but it's kind of ugly, but also kind of good. I don't know. I don't mind it. But the vinyl itself, I think it's pink. But this is the sleeve, which I really like that. And then the vinyl itself. It looks red, but it's pink, I promise. I promise it's pink. It's like really hot pink. It just looks red on the camera, but I don't know if you can see. It's pink, I promise. I'm not colorblind. But yeah, this is Fuzzy Brain by Dayglow. And like with all the music that I've mentioned, if you haven't listened to Dayglow, you're just straight up missing out. I mean, at this point, you're just straight up missing out. His music is so indie and so bedroom popish. It's just amazing, and yeah, I make music myself, and he's been a huge inspiration. And if you listen to my music, if you want to check it out, links to that will be in the description. I release music under the name UFO Race, but Dayglow has heavily inspired me with my sound, and yeah, I love Dayglow. So yeah, that's Dayglow's first album, Fuzzy Brain. Alright, next up in the Dayglow trilogy is Harmony House, which may be my favorite album by him. This album blew me away when it came out, and still continues to blow me away. Every song on this album is a certified banger, and honestly, Dayglow may have never made a bad song. The man just does not miss. I promise you, every song on this album is just an absolute banger. Not even kidding. But yeah, inside of this, he got his dogs out. But okay. But the vinyl itself. Vinyl itself, I think, is colored. Yeah, it is. But that's the slip. Thank you for purchasing Dayglow Harmony House. The coupon and entitles you to a free download of the record in digital format to transfer to computer or music player. I don't think I redeemed this. If y'all can read this, you can have it. If y'all can read that, you can have it and get this album for free. But this is an orange and white vinyl. Yeah, I love this album. Medicine is one of the best songs, but I think Something is probably my favorite song from this album. Or no, Crying on the Dance Floor. Hands down is the best song on this album. I forgot that was on this album. I thought it was on his next one. But no, Crying on the Dance Floor. When I listen to that song and it breaks out with the saxophone solo, forget about it. This album is incredible, and yeah, go listen to it. Every name I think. Yeah, this album is incredible, so go listen to it. Also, if you were able to redeem this, say it in the comments. I would love to know if this worked or not. Also, I forgot I had these, but this is a Close to You, which is one of the songs from Harmony House, a Close to You flexi disc. I have no idea how to play this. It looks just like a vinyl, but it's square, obviously. I don't know if you can play this on a record player, if it's like a flat record player, or if you have to have something different. But yeah, this is a flexi disc. So yeah, it was really cool. I have no idea how to play it, but it was really cheap and cool and very retro. I don't know. So anyway, moving on to his latest record, People in Motion. This album is incredible, and I'm really excited for his next album. He's going to be releasing music soon, but this album is really awesome. I don't know if it's as good as Harmony House, but there's a lot of songs that go hard on this album. Like She Does is probably my favorite one from this album. This is the slip. I think the vinyl's colored. Oh, it is. This is a cool vinyl. One of the coolest that I have. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now we're talking. Now all the vinyl people are impressed with my collection. Oh yeah. No, but this is actually super cool. Vinyl. Don't you think? I don't know. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But this album is really good. Like She Does is really good. How Do You Know is really, really good. I don't know. They're all good. Once again, well, that concludes my Dayglow collection. Check them out if you want. If you don't, I don't care. You're missing out. But yeah, that's the last Dayglow album that is released and the last one that I have. So yeah, moving on. I forgot to say, this is one that I have on display in my room, so yeah, I keep forgetting to say that, but yeah, this is one. Alright, next up, I'm ashamed that I only have one album by this artist, but this is Every Kingdom by Ben Howard. You can't really see that it says Every Kingdom at the top, but this is his most popular album, and definitely not my favorite, but it's one of the only ones that I could get on vinyl. They've been sold out for so long. Yeah, this is Every Kingdom. This album is great, but all of his other albums are much more Ben Howard style. I found out about Ben Howard through The Walking Dead. He has Oats in the Water is a song in season 2, I think, at some point, and I heard that song and I was like, no, Oats in the Water's in season 4. After a character who shall remain nameless dies, that song is in it, and it's just an amazing song. It's 6 minutes long, and it's incredible, and that's on the Burrow Island EP, and that EP is amazing, and I listened to that for a while, and then I listened to this album, and I was like, it's pretty good, and then I listened to I Forget Where We Were, which that album is probably my favorite by him. It's absolutely incredible. I wish I had it on vinyl. They just always sell out as soon as they get it back in stock, and I'm never quick enough. But yeah, and then Noonday Dream was one that wasn't received critically very well. Car Driving Past wasn't received critically very well, but I think it was some of the most inventive music and innovative music I've heard. It was really, really unique. And that album was followed up by Collections from the Whiteout, which is the only album that I don't like by him, and I really don't like it. There's maybe one or two songs on it that I would listen to, but all the rest are just, I think, just one step too far from what he was doing on New Daydream. But then his most recent album, which he just came out with, is It. That's the name of that album, is It. And that album is incredible. I've listened to it a lot, and it was my most listened to album last year, I think, when it came out. But yeah, that album's absolutely incredible, and you should definitely check it out. And I wish I had it on vinyl, but I don't. So yeah, this is Every Kingdom. And if you haven't listened to Ben Howard, it's not for everybody. But it is for a lot of people, and you should check it out. Start out with I Forget Where We Were, that album. It's amazing. So yeah, Ben Howard. Next up we have the album Aim and Ignite by Fun. A lot of people know who Fun is. They probably haven't heard many songs off of this album. They're the band that did Some Nights and We Are Young, which those songs are really huge, and especially were huge in the early 2010s, but this album is by far their best. They've only released 2 albums, but this one is better than Some Nights, and it's the only one that I have on vinyl. Also, Nate Ruess, who is the lead singer of Fun, released his solo album, which was Grand Romantic, and Grand Romantic is incredible. I love Grand Romantic. Unfortunately, you can't get it on vinyl anymore, because they stopped selling it after it released, because that album did not do good. It did not do good at all. So, yeah, this is Aim and Ignite, and I'm lucky to have this, because you can hardly get this for a reasonable price, but I did, and I love this album. It's extremely good, but yeah, that's Fun, Aim and Ignite, and Fun for a long time was my favorite band when I discovered them, but then I literally listened to them like nonstop for a year, and then to listen to some of their songs kind of makes me sick because of how much I listened to it. But yeah, Aim and Ignite is incredible. Next up we have Now Not Yet by Half Alive. This is one of my favorite albums of all time. The cover art is incredible. The music is amazing, mixing this blend of like funk and pop and disco and all sorts of stuff. But I think this vinyl might be colored, maybe not. But it came out, I think, in 2018, or maybe it's, I think 2018. Let me look. It was released in it says 2017, 2018, 2019, 2019. It says 2019 twice. I think it was 2018 that the album officially released. It could have been 2019, but either way, when it came out, I was really anxious about a lot of stuff and really worried about what I was going to do with my life, and I felt like the never-ending pressure of time collapsing on me, and this album came out, and yeah, it sort of changed my outlook on life at the time, and I made a lot of changes to myself around the time that this album came out, and yeah, this album is sort of really special to me. So yeah, I wasn't a fan of Half-Life's new album, Conditions of a Punk. There's songs on it that are good, but the cover art is not very good, and the songs just aren't my style. They're way more like modern pop. I know I sound like such a snob when I say that, modern pop. I love modern pop, just not how they did it. It's not bad, I just don't like it as much as Now Not Yet. But here's the vinyl itself. Oh, it's green. It's mint green. I guess you could say that this vinyl is in mint condition. I'm not proud of it either. Okay? Okay. That concludes my Half Alive collection. I love this album, and yeah, I can't say enough about this album. just incredible. And you should go listen to it. Maybe it'll help you with whatever you're going through right now. But that's Have Alive, Now Not Yet. So, okay, this next section is going to be like a rapid fire section of albums. Most of them are classic rock, because I love classic rock. And my dad is a huge fan of classic rock and always has been. So a lot of the songs that he likes and a lot of the artists that he likes, I like as well. And he was like, you should get these bands on vinyl, so I did. And some of them are from him, and some of them are from my mom, too. And from my grandma, who will buy me vinyl sometimes. And, yeah, so here we go. Starting off with the most rock ever. I'm just kidding, it's jazz. It's piano music by George Gershwin. It's just piano music. It's just like jazz. I got this at a thrift store at a Goodwill, in my local Goodwill. I was going through the vinyl basket and saw this and was like, I've never heard of it, and so I bought it, and the music is incredible. I love putting it on when I'm like cleaning my room or something. It's really relaxing, and it sounds good, and very jazzy, and almost Christmassy, I guess, but yeah. That's this. I don't know anything else about it. I don't know who he is. I don't know who wrote the music. I don't know anything about it, but it sounds good, so yeah. Merry Christmas, Baby by Elvis. I mean, what can you say? He's the king. And his Christmas music is bops. So, yeah, I got that. Next up, I have something that I bought. It's the Stranger Things soundtrack. I bought this, I think, at Walmart. I don't know. I don't think the vinyls are special at all, but the Stranger Things soundtrack is incredible. And it sounds great on vinyl. And I feel like it's cool to have it on vinyl just because the 80s vibes of Stranger Things. So, yeah. I love Stranger Things. I think it's a great show. It's one of my favorite shows. I think season 1 of Stranger Things is probably the best season of a show that's ever been made. And I know a lot of people feel that way, but yeah, this is the soundtrack for season 1 of Stranger Things on vinyl. Next up, we have Boston's self-titled album. Boston is an amazing band. And their cover arts are unmatched. I love their album covers. And I make music under the name UFO Race. And so this album cover is incredible. It took me a while. As a kid, I didn't realize what I was looking at. But it's a guitar that's a UFO. The guitar hulls. You know, the tractor beam, I guess. It's got the neck of the guitar, and then it's got a city on top of the UFO. Which is a guitar. It's just really awesome. Great cover art. And great album, obviously. Boston is incredible, and yeah, it's Boston. You know who they are. Next, I have A Charlie Brown Christmas by the Vince Guaraldi Trio. And this is a special edition. This is the silver foiled version. Very reflective. You can see the mic there. But the vinyl itself is also, this is really cool. It's translucent red, but then it also has sparkles on it. I don't know if you can see. It has sparkles on it that look like snow or something. I don't know how well you can see that on there. I don't know if you can see that at all. But, yeah, I got this and was really excited. It sounds amazing on vinyl. And it's one of the greatest Christmas albums ever. One of the best Christmas movies. I absolutely adore Charlie Brown Christmas. And especially this music. And, yeah, I love playing it on piano, too. Playing, Oh Tannenbaum on piano is just so fun. So yeah, that is the Charlie Brown Christmas. Next up, we have the Ultimate Sinatra. This is just a best of collection of Sinatra's music. And if you collect vinyls, you're probably going to have Sinatra in there somewhere because he's just so fun to listen to on vinyl. It's what his music would have been produced to be listened to. And so that's something that's really special and awesome. So, yeah, Sinatra. Then we got the Doobie Brothers, best of part 1 and 2. The Doobie Brothers is classic, and they've inspired a lot of people like Dayglow. A lot of his sound is taken from the Doobie Brothers, and yeah, it's the Doobie Brothers. What can I say? Best of the Eagles. I think this is the best of album. Yeah, the greatest hits, if you can read that font underneath. But yeah, Eagles. Obviously, everybody knows who the Eagles are. Classic. Some more Elvis. This is one that my mom had recorded at Madison Square Garden. I guess this is just a live album. Yeah, I think I listened to it. Yeah, I did. Yes, I've listened to this. Yeah. And then here's one that I bought. Slippery When Wet by Bon Jovi. The actual slip covers, like the inside slips, are not appropriate to show here, but this album is one of my favorite classic rock albums. I think Bon Jovi's just got a crazy good voice, and their music was crazy good and awesome to jam out to. So, yeah, Bon Jovi. Then we got Leonard Skinner's Street Survivors. This album actually is what inspired one of my songs, a song called Orange. I was listening to Leonard Skinner, and they had a drum beat in it, and I was like, oh, okay, I like this drum beat. And so I sort of tried to copy the drum beat and make my own rock song, and I did, and it's called Orange. You can go listen to it if you want it. If not, just go listen to Leonard Skinner. They're better than me. Anyway, that's Street Survivors. And then when I think of the greatest singers of all time, who have the greatest voice, I think of Bryan Adams, and part of that is because of his work on the Spirit soundtrack. The movie Spirit, I think, is one of the best soundtracks ever. It's by Hans Zimmer and Bryan Adams, and so, yeah, but this album is also really good. This is his album, Reckless, which has Summer of '69 on it, and a lot of other great songs. This is probably my favorite Bryan Adams album. I went through and listened to them all a long time ago, and I think this was my favorite one. I'm trying to think of what the other one would have been. No, I think this was my favorite one, and it is his most popular one, so kind of makes sense. I guess I'm a Bryan Cranston normie, although I would say that the Spirit soundtrack is better than this. So yeah, that's Bryan Adams. Then I have Journey, who has Beatles as the Scarab as their album cover, always. This is Captured, the album Captured. I was looking into the one day why Journey has the Scarab as all of their album covers, and I guess it was because the producers didn't that record label didn't let them pick their own album covers. And when Journey was their first album, the record label had made an album cover for another artist who then didn't want that album cover, and I guess they were big enough to pick their own album cover, and so they were like, yeah, you're getting the Scarab. And so they got the Scarab, and the album did well, and then they just stuck with the Scarab. Yeah. Not sure if that's true. That's just what I found when I looked it up. So, yeah, that's Captured by Journey. Obviously, Journey's amazing. Most of you have heard of Journey. And now we're getting into Van Halen, greatest rock band of all time. Eddie Van Halen, the greatest guitarist of all time. And this album, Van Halen, is probably my favorite by them. And it's not talked about much, but it has Eruption on it. And I remember as a kid, we would be driving out somewhere, like as a family, and we would stop at the grocery store, and my mom would go in by herself because we have a big family, and my dad would stay in the car and he'd flip through the radio and he would get on something like Jump or something like that, and we really hated it as kids because he would crank it up, but now that's rubbed off on me, and I love listening to loud music and Van Halen and rock, and so yeah, this album is special to me because my dad's always loved this album. He had it on cassette, and he would play it in his car, so yeah, I love this album. It's their self-titled one, by the way. This is Van Halen's 1984, one of the weirdest cover arts of all time, but somehow I like it. It's like a little cherub smoking. It kind of goes hard, not gonna lie. This is kind of a cool album cover, but it's also really weird. And the back of the vinyl is printed upside down. I don't know why, because they're special, I guess. But yeah, this album is great. It's the one that has Jump on it, and Out for Teacher, and all their most of their biggest hits. But yeah, that's 1984. Then we have one of my favorite albums of all time. Is Bruce Hornsby and the Range, The Way It Is. This album I discovered later in life. But my dad randomly one day was like, hey, have you ever heard of Bruce Hornsby? And I was like, no. He was like, you should learn one of his songs on piano. And then he showed me, I think, The Way It Is. I think that was the song. It was either that or Mandolin Rain. And he was like, you think you could play that? And I was like, I don't know. But the song was fire. And I ended up listening to this album, and this album is just banger after banger. Every Little Kiss, Mandolin Rain, and The Way It Is, all those songs are absolute bangers, but all the other ones too are really good. But the piano, I think Bruce Hornsby is one of the greatest pianists who ever lived. His performances live were also really entertaining because he didn't play the piano like the way that most people are taught to play piano. And as somebody who's a self-taught pianist and doesn't do things the way that, piano teachers would get mad at me with the way that I play, it was cool to see somebody who plays the way that they want to play. And so, yeah, Bruce Hornsby, legend, and this album is incredible. And that almost wraps it up. I have two more vinyls to show you. Okay, this next one is kind of funny. This is C.W. McCall's Greatest Hits. Now, most of you have probably never heard of C.W. McCall, but this album has the song Convoy on it. You can see I'm holding it weird. It's because it has both my grandpa's name, who originally bought the album and then gave it to my dad, who then crossed out his dad's name and wrote his name on it. And so, yeah, that's why I'm covering this up, because I don't really want you guys to have their names. But yeah, this album, the reason my dad gave it to me is because I jokingly will sing Convoy all the time, because that song is actually a banger. I first heard it on GTA radio and was like, whoa, this song's actually gonna fire. And so, yeah, my dad was back going through my grandparents' vinyls one day and found this and gave it to me, and he was like, hey, here you go. And I was like, that's hilarious. So yeah, I have this, and I'm very proud of it. I haven't listened to the full album. I've just heard Convoy, so I'll have to listen to it at some point. Alright, and then the last album that I have isn't really an album, it's just a 33 of the Imperial March, which is Darth Vader's theme, and then the Asteroid Field. I saw this at Walmart one time and thought it was really cool. The vinyl itself is red. Just a little 33. Listen to it. Sounded great. It sounded cool. But yeah, that's the last actual vinyl that I have. I have more vinyls than this, but I don't really listen to those ones. And they're mostly my mom's. So there's a lot of girly music on there, like Air Supply, which nothing against Air Supply, but it is definitely girly music. And then she has a Sean Cassidy album, which is funny, because as a kid we used to watch television, and what was on TV sometimes was the Hardy Boys, which we were homeschooled and we read the Hardy Boys, and so we wanted to see the show, and the show had Sean Cassidy in it. He played Joe, and as a kid, as a 4-year-old or 5-year-old, however old I was, I thought he was the coolest guy in the entire world. And looking back, he's an absolute doof, but I didn't know for a long time that he also made music, and I have his album, The Do Run Run, which is a funny song and fun album, and so yeah, I have stuff like that, but these are the vinyls that I really care about that I have. I have some CDs that I might just rapid fire here, just at the end, because I don't have that many CDs. But let's see here. Okay, starting off with my 21 Pilots. I got Vessel, but this is a special version of Vessel. It includes Lovely and Forced, and Lovely is remastered, and so is Forced. Now, I don't know why this isn't the standard edition of Vessel that they sell. I found out about this version from a friend, and they were selling it on Amazon at the time, and so I bought it. I don't think they sell it anywhere anymore, so this could actually be worth money. I don't know, but it's awesome that it includes 2 of the best songs from Regional at Best. It also includes Glowing Eyes and Kitchen Sink. So it includes 4 songs from the Regional at Best. So, yeah. Awesome that I have this, and I'm really thankful that I do. But yeah, that's Vessel. Then I have Blurry Face here, just the regular version, and then I have 2 versions of Trench. I ordered one online and then bought one in the store the day it came out, so that's why I have 2. And then I have 2 versions of Scaled and Icy, which one is the standard edition with the slip, and one is the, I guess, special edition with the black slipcover, which is pretty cool. And this is one that I have displayed in my room along with Trench, Blurry Face, and Vessel I have sitting on my mirror over in my little music corner. So, yeah, that's my 21 Pilots stuff. But this is one that I wanted to show you, which is my Tron album. Tron soundtrack album. This is for Tron Legacy. It's by Daft Punk, and it's one of the greatest soundtracks ever made. They're making another Tron, which, yeah, let me explain. I'm a Tron Legacy sympathizer. I think the movie was actually quite good, despite everybody hating the movie. And I realize that it has a lot of problems, but the special effects, the CGI, the fighting, the world, everything about it I love. There's some plot issues, but that's about it. And I really love this movie, and it's really nostalgic for me, because when it came out, me and my brother watched it, and it was really cool. So, yeah, that's Tron. But with this soundtrack, the disc looks like a disc from Tron, but then the back of it is black. I've never seen that before. It's really cool, though. But yeah, as a kid, I went out and I bought this, and I played it to death. We played this album to death. We loved this album, and it's so funny because it doesn't have singing in it, but we listen to it all the time. So yeah, that's that. Then I have 3 albums by the band 10th Avenue North. This is a Christian band that I grew up on, and was really the first band that I got obsessed with other than Relient K. I have the Dark album, or the Light Meets the Dark album, which is signed by them, and then the Struggle, which is newer. I had Over and Underneath the album. I met them at the Schottenstein Center in Columbus at Rock and Worship Roadshow in 2008, I want to say. I met them there, and I got to talk to them, and I had them physically sign my copy of Over and Underneath. It was one of the greatest things that 8-year-old Parker did. However, you may have noticed that my album was not signed. That's because a disgruntled child that shall remain nameless tore that cover to absolute shreds. at least it's not that big of a deal to me now, but back then it was. So, yeah, just a funny thing that happened. But yeah, they're like the only band that I've actually ever met, which is funny because my mom actually met Tyler Joseph, and I'm so jealous of that. She met him back in, I want to say, 2014, right before they released Blurry Face. She was working in a restaurant at the time, and she was doing a banquet, and he was there at a wedding, and people were like, oh, it's Tyler Joseph, he's back there. And Mom was like, who is this guy? And she waited at his table and talked to him and said that he was really nice. But that's how I found out about 21 Pilots. And she was like, yeah, I waited at this table with this guy named Tyler Joseph. He's in a band called 21 Pilots. And so we looked it up, and yeah, it's just crazy. Really jealous of that. But another cool story I just wanted to share. Okay, here's just 2 soundtracks that I have. This is Spirit, which I think is probably my favorite soundtrack of all time, and then Prince Caspian's soundtrack. I don't know why I have the Prince Caspian soundtrack, but as you can see, it is very worn, and that's because we bought it when the movie came out, and we used to make movies with a camcorder, and we had a like boombox that we would play music through for the movies, so we would synchronize up scenes with the music from the soundtrack, and this was the soundtrack that we used for everything. So yeah, that's why it's so beat up and worn. But yeah, those are those. Anyway, I think that pretty much wraps up this video. I want to thank you all for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. If you want to check out my music, I make music under the name UFO Race. All the links to that will be in the description. You can check it out if you want. If not, that's okay too. But you've been watching 1, 2, 3 Sheep ASMR. My name is Parker, and I will see you